news, what should be done, WNBA news, a lot of stuff went on last weekend, Ellie. There's a lot of stuff. I mean,
Yes, it did.
that was a lot going on that weekend, and then you have NBA free agency that just kicked off 3 minutes ago, and so it'd be interesting to see some of the contracts that officially come out. Even though the NBA does a pretty cool thing that they do strategic tampering before, so guys know what they're going to get paid beforehand. So a lot of guys got richer. But I wanted to ask you, Ellie, since you're a recent graduate, and things obviously significantly different than when I went to school. And I'll give my opinion, and then ask you as also a former athlete as well. Gambling in sports. Um, I will tell you before, like when I was in college, I don't think any of my I know matter of fact, I know none of my teammates gambled. Nobody really everybody was even scared to go to a casino and when I was in the pros, just because I think it was like an NFL rule. If they spotted you in a casino, it was like, oh, you might get suspended. And obviously it's gradually gotten more the norm. People forget that Aaron Rodgers got denied by the NFL to go and do an appearance in Vegas for fantasy football, which is essentially,
Hmm.
people can gamble now. You can gamble in the facilities, and obviously you have players at different levels, college, and now obviously in pro basketball over the last 2 years have been potentially one found guilty, Michael Porter Jr.'s brother, and then obviously you got Beasley potentially being questioned right now and kind of accused of throwing games. And for me, I never grew up in that type of environment. Now, I will tell you, when I used to go get my hair cut, Uncle Eddie, I didn't realize, one time his barbershop got, started on fire. There was a couple of reasons behind it, but he used to run numbers out of it. That's essentially taking bets, and but I never grew up around it, and I wasn't in my household, so I never really understood it. Really, it wasn't appealing to me. I never was approached about throwing a game. Um, I don't think anybody, even in the NFL at that time, ever was got in trouble for it. But I think as fantasy football started to take off, gambling started to become more the norm. The money to support
It just
teams
became easier to
and
do.
easier with cell phones.
Yeah.
They had different websites and all that stuff. You had, been able to sign into a website, and the gambling was
All it is a button that you got to push,
right,
and it's
instant,
accessible to
and
you.
it's on the internet, so it's not really trackable.
Hmm.
Um, Now you have pro teams are allowing guys to gamble inside the stadium as long as you're doing it in the right spots, which is so confusing. I
Hmm.
don't know if you saw it last training camp. One of the couple players got suspended, and Sean Payton said he had to take a whole day out of training camp. Now, mind you, you're getting ready to play a season out of training camp to go through when in the rules, and he still didn't know. The players didn't know, but now you have this. From your perspective as a former athlete and obviously a younger student, just graduated. Congratulations, by the way.
Thank you.
Um, what's your view on it when you see news like this from your perspective? Because for me, it's more shock. Like, how could you throw a game? Does it
Hmm.
affect you, or do you think it like along those lines, or do you like, ah, this is just a norm?
Well, this is funny because I feel like the last time, if I remember, last time I was on Old School, we talked about like sports betting and
Right.
throwing games. So I think this is just something that is it. We continue to talk about it. It gets brought up, and it's not going away just because of the technology and just how the game is developed.
Mm-hmm.
Right now, like you said before, it wasn't something that was going on during the time that you were playing. It wasn't something you really heard of. As the times go on, as sports develop, as all the leagues, people ride or die for these teams, and
Mm.
they don't care how much money they're putting in. They're just putting in the money. I have friends that have gambling problems, and they're my age,
Yeah.
which
Right.
is crazy
Yeah.
to think about. It's just, and then I am very not empathetic to it, to the point where I'm in my head thinking, how do you let it get to that point where they're complaining about it, but they're still continuing to do it? So I'm
Mm.
not feeling bad in that realm if they're just putting themselves in that situation. But it's something that's very prevalent, and we talked about it a lot. And also, I think in a lot of athletes' heads, they're thinking, "As long as I'm doing it and I'm not getting caught, I'm just gonna keep doing it." There's a lot of them that aren't getting caught, and it's still going on, and it's still happening that people don't know about. So, I think it's just something that's going to be there, and it's just gonna continue to develop, especially with fantasy football and all
Yeah.
those things.
So let me.
It
I
grows.
know you have a show on. Was it Saturdays or Sundays?
Sundays
Sundays at 4 to 5.
from 4 to 5, that's a
And you
W.
cover a lot of women's sports. So I'm gonna
Uh-huh.
ask you now. You love the WNBA.
Yes.
Now, if you start watching, now I know you're watching WNBA now. Like you're not gonna get on one of these things and say, I know you're, Caitlin Clark is good for this, or
Uh-huh.
Angel Reese is good for this many rebounds. You're not. You don't have any appeal for that.
I I'm not a huge gambler. I don't like gambling. I went to when my grandparents were in town, they really liked the Warhorse Casino. They like to go. That was my first time gambling ever.
Mm-hmm.
Left, didn't like it because I don't like the thought of myself losing money and going really, really high and then just losing it.
Right.
Even though I really like the WNBA and I know that I could count on some players that would help me in a certain situations, I don't think I wanna put my money into that.
Yeah, it's a catch-22. I think from a player's perspective, which I guess I would ask, is that all right, you've seen a couple guys get caught,
Yeah.
right? Or one get caught,
Mhm.
right? And one that's on the essentially cost, well, right as of right now, which I don't ever think he'll be able to make up the money, even if he does,
Yeah.
is found not guilty. He was in line for about a 3-year, $48 million contract in Beasley, right?
Mhm.
Um,
Guilty, not guilty, it ruins his reputation.
right. So now you might be into like 3 years. Now we're just saying like say 30 million. Well, you
Yeah.
lost still the 18 million, right?
Mhm.
Like you've seen guys get caught doing this. So why would you do it to that max when if you really like the sports bet on games, I'm assuming that you can do it in the
Mhm.
stadium or the arenas.
Yeah.
Why not just be with that? Do you think you're going to be the only guy that's going to get away with it? It's shown now you can't because if there are players that are on the take, or like we have a great text here from Jordan P. He says he wasn't throwing games really. Dot dot dot. Now this is always funny, but making sure spreads were hit, like in a couple games where you just dribble out. They were up 9. Spread was 8.5 points. He took the ball the whole distances and then and made a layup to cover. Yeah, and we've seen, yeah, but then also I would say Jordan. There's a couple videos out there where he was guarding somebody and
Mhm.
literally was a turnstile,
Yeah.
which he's obviously known as a 3 and D player. That means he can do. He plays all 3 levels, can shoot and all that, do that stuff. So even I mean, I guess I would say as long as in that sense, sure you hit the spread, but that's for a player like that, you don't have as much control because you're not
No.
LeBron, you're not Luca, and all that. And Jordan P says his dad's from Omaha. That's why Strick says he knows him. So
Mhm.
it's tough. You get approached by something. It's probably easy money. And I'm pretty sure they're very persuasive, right?
Yeah.
I mean,
A lot of peer pressure.
if because whatever they're paying you to, affect the outcome of the spread, they're making tenfold.
Mhm.
Now you just wonder how his name got brought up, and now who, somebody put the squeeze on somebody and say, hey, look, take the pressure off of me. Here's an NBA player. It's very appealing. And you know what? Some of these district attorneys or whatever, they can really up their profile by making an example of Beasley and these
Mhm.
other players by breaking the rules. I also think we have a great text here from John and Cortland, and I will tell you this: one of my good friends that was actually my mentor as I was a rookie, Daryl Porter, was at Boston College at the time when it was college football. Where they had a couple players essentially, affecting the spread, and it's a tough pill to swallow for some of these players, but also I think it like you said, it's the norm. It's not going to stop.
Mm-mm.
I think also for these colleges, you're going to have to do, you're going to have to put some resources and funds into the do's and don'ts
Yeah.
because, as you said, I'll tell you a funny story here. We were playing down in Dallas last year, and it's the equivalent, Ellie, if you and your friends on spring break drove to South Padre. It
Okay.
was a long trip. When I put it on MapQuest or on the phone or MapQuest, I'm dating myself, but on the, I was like, oh, it's 8.5 hours. No. When you go from north side of Dallas to the other side, it's an extra hour and a half to it. So it was a long trip. Rented a van or whatever we're driving, and so a lot of times you're driving as a coach, and you're listening to some of these players. And I'll never forget one of my players was like talking about at that time the Masters,
Mhm.
and he's like, hey, bro, I just put $5 on so and so. I just did this to make the cut. And
And how old are
Scotty's
they?
16 at that 16, 15, 16,
Gosh.
17. And I'm sitting there like,
You
no,
just got your license. Why are you betting?
I was like, man, you're gambling?
Yeah.
Like, no, that's number one. Like, and you're letting your coach, number two. I mean, I can't do anything.
Yeah.
But number three, that's not even a good bet because you don't know nothing
No.
about golf.
No.
He's like, I just need,
He just needs to
but
get his toes
here's
in.
the appeal to these kids. You do $5. You hit one.
Mhm.
All right, I'll put $5 and you win 15. So you get 20.
It's a rush, like
Right.
this high
Or
you
it's just the
get.
ease.
Yeah.
And it's kind of like, make 100 bets and two hit, they cover the other 98 and
Mhm.
I get a little bit of money. So, and I get this, and you know what they really like? Sitting in the chair or on their butts and thinking that they're making money.
Yeah.
And so,
And they don't have to do anything to
right.
just make
And
it.
whether I don't know whether you have to put your age in or anything like
Mhm.
that. I'm sure you could.
I think they probably do, but they're obviously going to put themselves in there as
Older because they
way older.
could text line for people that gamble. Jordan. So for these apps or whatever,
Mhm.
is there any verification of age? What is the gambling age?
I
Is it
don't
18?
know.
It's got to be 18
I think
or
it's 18.
16.
You can buy a lottery ticket at 19.
Yeah.
So I think it's 18, 19
Yeah.
in the
So
state of Nebraska.
yeah. So I wonder.
18.
Yeah. So I definitely didn't, incriminate any of my players. It's still
Yeah.
illegal. But I tightened
Can't
them up
say
a little bit.
names.
I told him, I said, listen, man. And Jordan P says, yeah. He said, yes. A lot of them make you scan your ID, so they must got fake
Okay, yeah.
IDs.
Or something.
How
Or they're
how
just
Jordan?
finding what kind of
How old do you
apps
have to
are
be
21. It's got to be 21.
to
Let's
gamble?
say
That's to
21.
drink.
I think it's also I had to be
I
21 to
kn-
get a casino.
I don't think so because I know. And I will tell you this. This is probably a similar experience to you. When I was in high school, one of my friends, and actually it affected him long term. He grew up in a household, playing cards. And now I
Mhm.
played spades, but we didn't bet.
Yeah.
The cool thing was is when I think I turned is either 16 or 18, they had Mystic Lake Casino. And it was, within drive, probably to Omaha. And we went and I don't know, I got like $40. And then we, put it into the slot machines and, play a little 21. He helped me or whatever.
Mhm.
And I never went back. It didn't do anything for me. I was
Yeah.
like, you drive because he was driving out there almost like every day. So it was it probably was 18.
Mhm.
So 16 to drive 18. So here at Jordan P says 18 or 21, just depends on where they're based. So if they're 18,
Yeah.
so I don't want
Getting
to.
it into a problem like that at 18 is
Yeah, but these kids weren't 18.
or 16.
So, but always,
16
and they
betting
probably
on golf.
and they probably got some family members that they can use their ID. But
Mhm.
I think it's here to stay. I don't know if you remember. It was a Saturday night game. It was Northwestern was the home team. Ohio State was the visiting team. And Ohio State has this fan. He's a bigger dude and he paints himself like silver.
Mhm.
And I don't know what the spread was, but Northwestern gave Ohio State a run for their money. But Ohio State had control of the game. Well, they blocked the punt, picked it up, and scored. And they ESPN or whatever the network scanned to him, and he looked to his buddy like, "Oh, that was a backdoor cover."
Yeah.
So it's prevalent. It's even into
You can see it.
yeah. So one of my favorite shows on ESPN is Scott Van Pelt does Bad Bets. So he'll play it out like Jordan P says of so and so college is whatever the spread is, they're up by this much. Or essentially, you got to do this, and then the other team will start hitting threes and still lose, but you don't cover,
Mhm.
or you miss a layup, or you miss a free throw. So I think
Just little things. And those little things are causing people to spiral as if it's a really, really big thing. People get mad. And I like it. I was talking to Jeffrey about this the other day. Within the women's sports realm, so WNBA, people used to comment, "Great game, ladies." Like, "Oh, you'll get him next time." Now people within the sports betting gambling world are commenting on these WNBA players' Instagram things thinking, "You ruined my parlay. Can't believe you didn't do this because you ruined my bet," or all this stuff. It's within women's sports now. People are commenting on all NBA players, "Oh, you ruined my parlay." Now it's happening on the other side. It's just a continuing thing, and that just shows that throughout the realm of all sports, it's not going away, and it's gonna continue to just grow, especially as women's sports grows, WNBA, there's more opportunities to bet on different games
yeah.
for people to make money in quotations
Yeah,
if they're
let
lucky.
me ask you this on a percentage as let's say your age group, let's say from 18 to let's say young adults 30.
'Kay.
What percentage do you think fans are showing up like cheering for their team that they want the Huskers to win or Kansas State to win, or are they cheering for and only watching for the spread or performance of
Mhm.
certain players to do well?
Percentage-wise,
Yeah. Do you think? I'll ask you.
like
I'll make it easier. Do you think it's what? Where's the higher percentage? Is it the true fan or the person that's showing up to say since because they think when they go to the game, it's providing good luck
yeah.
for X player to score a touchdown or whatever.
I think if we're looking at Nebraska, I don't think people are going and putting on great bets for Nebraska to win a game. I think they're just going because they like to support.
Sure.
If you're going to other
Just in
places and if
general.
you're
I'm just
looking
talking
in
about it.
general,
Yeah.
I think a lot of more people are going because they wanna make some money, and that sucks, but and some people are a 50-50 where they wanna make money, but they also are hoping that their team that they're supporting, because 'cause they're diehard fans, are
Mm.
gonna make them some money.
Yeah. The old saying is don't bet with your heart, bet with your mind.
Yeah.
Right. And so obviously Nebraska fans are, very, very heartfelt in support.
Mhm.
I just think it's one of those things that or we got Greg and Tilden here. Or no, we got a couple. We appreciate you guys on the text line. John, we got Jordan P first. He says the NBA has shown themselves to be pretty much to be the feds many times. Best believe any higher payouts and weird betting patterns are being turned in. Best believe. Okay. Um, you can get traced by IP addresses. It's a really stupid risk that is easily traceable. So
Yeah,
essentially, you're
anything you can
right.
trace anything these
Right. So
days.
I mean, Jordan, in that's great to knowledge to know that look, the NBA is on you,
Mhm.
and especially when that because you got to think the NBA has a history of this
Well, it's also
with
who's
Tim
the one
Donahue,
guy
the
in the
referee.
NFL? Well, obviously referee, there was a guy in, like, 2019 in the NFL that got he was he, um, went on leave because for mental health. He said it was mental health, and then it turned out that he was
Calvin Ridley,
yeah, Ridley.
yeah, but
Yeah,
his for with the
Falcons.
Falcons, but he was just betting on games,
It's
I think,
still betting, it's still doing something, it's
but it wasn't. He wasn't betting to like to affect the game. He was betting to say he thought so and so would win.
oh.
And it was only $1,000, but it cost him a
It
lot.
cost him a
It
lot.
cost
That's
him,
what I'm
and he got
saying, like, these
suspended.
small things, especially athletes, we can talk about I said normal people betting on anything. It's not gonna affect them in any way,
But you
really,
can cost
because
yourself millions on a
you can
twenty-one
cost
hundred
yourself
dollar bet.
millions.
Yeah,
Like, we're talking about these people, really, reputation out the window. All these
yeah,
people that are getting caught, like, they're you gotta know the consequences at some point if you're an athlete, because it's not allowed.
yeah.
And I took a sports management class. We talked about sports betting, all this stuff. There were athletes in my class. You're not allowed to, as an athlete, sports bet, gamble as D3 athlete, like all
At
divisions.
all.
And they're actively saying to the professor, I'm betting, I'm sports betting, I am blah, blah, blah. This is what happened. Like, I don't feel bad for you. I really don't. And I hope at some point it just comes back to him. Because one, cut the crap to what's it doing for you.
They're trying to make some money.
They're
Wrestling's
trying to make some
expensive,
money.
isn't it?
Not as
They gotta make
not
that rent over there.
not as bad as you think.
Yeah.
It's not as you hear private and you get nervous, but it's not bad.
Yeah. I mean, I think it's a way of life. I think it's
Uh-huh.
a lot when guys get together and say, you know, I don't know, at a frat house or a friend's house,
Yeah.
house parties, when they're watching these games. That's a big part of it. Hey,
Mhm.
come over. Let's put it together.
Yeah.
Let's get everybody's thoughts on a parlay or a bet or whatever. Greg and Tilden says this: any age can bet whatever they want whether they're old enough with their old enough buddies in the gas station parking lot. What you mean is if you're underage, technically, you can find somebody kind
Mhm.
of like back in the day.
Yeah.
Have
Hey,
your
can you go into that gas station?
your older brother get you some beer or
Buy me a
whatever.
pack.
Yeah, and here we go. Got John and Cortland. He said, and players' devices on the field bench and for real late. Jordan P was talking about Calvin Ridley from the Falcons. I think it's just one of those things that you wish that here's what I'll tell you this, and this is a great friend of mine. He's now passed away. When I lived in Charlotte, his name was Lloyd Parker. Played basketball at Kansas State. I met him through a mutual friend, and then we connected because he really got me to see a bigger view of the athlete and he worked for Bank of America, so he's a corporate view, but he just gave me a real view. And we were talking about, I forget it was a cardinal sin for player that everybody thought it was a cardinal sin for a player to hold out to get a new contract. And he was like, people don't feel sorry for him because he's going to make more if he stayed at the rate now than what a lot of people make in their whole life. Now, he asked me my perspective. I said, well, he needs to get what he earned because he outplayed the contract.
Mhm.
And he was talking to me about that. And then it really taught me to really try to look at yourself through the 99.9% of the people's lens, because that's really you talk about your reputation and how much that could cost you 10, 20 years from now. Now everything worked out and the player, the team was just, jerking them around a little bit. But I think when you're talking about the perspective of gambling, being responsible, and even for college kids now, right? Because they're all getting paid a lot of money.
Mhm.
And I always try to tell these young athletes, when you're getting a big NIL deal, or you have a big social media following, or you're getting paid a lot of money, and
There's no hiding nothing.
there's no hiding anything. But when you're young, say 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, still young, no offense,
Yeah.
right? I'll tell nobody cares.
No.
You can't, and I always say this with kids, like you
You're
can't
old
pull,
enough to know.
you can't, it's not that. You can't pull the age card when you're highly compensated.
Yeah.
You're making more than the majority of people in the state of Nebraska. So you're getting paid.
No one's gonna feel bad for you.
No, but you're getting paid not to make those mistakes.
Uh-huh.
And you probably aren't mentally developed in your brain to really decide, but you're getting paid to. So you better have people around you that can really watch your blind spots. Because if you do get in trouble with gambling in the NFL, when you are, let's say, like, if you're told to only gamble in the studio and you choose to gamble in the bathroom, well, then that's on you. So I think that's really where you're at. But when you're trying to, like Jordan P says, when you're missing a couple 3-pointers, when you're trying to make sure the game stays within, that's probably more of an integrity thing.
Yeah.
Ken Donahue was a referee that was affecting it, and there's a big 30 for 30 for, and there's other refs.
Seen it.
Right, but there's other refs that now
yeah.
that just recently
Uh-huh.
had to kind of retire abruptly, and so it happens, and you never know with
Still continuing.
with baseball, balls and strikes and all that. So it's not going to go anywhere. Hopefully there's some regulation, but obviously, just use some sound mind, right? And because it's like a drug for some people.
Yeah.
They really get into it and get fixated on it because you're chasing it. And there's old saying, Ellie, the house always wins.
It does.
And that's the reason why they put out those bets. So anyway, to take a quick break there, that was Gambling in Sports. Jay Foreman, Ellie sitting in for Austin. Old school, the new school way. We'll be right back.
You're listening to Old School with Jay Foreman and Austin Orman. Download the mobile app and listen wherever you are on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
A1 Automotive's second location is now open at 5110 State Hill Drive, just off of Yankee Hill Road. The new location continues to specialize in all makes and models and provides personalized service as they have for 15 years. To honor the new store opening, A1 is offering $25 off any service over $300, $50 off services over $500, and $75 off services that total over $750, all through July 31st. Schedule your appointment today at a1autolincoln.com and visit their new location in South Lincoln at 5110 State Hill Drive. At Parkview Animal Hospital in Lincoln, it's not just their professional care that sets them apart, but their warm staff and state-of-the-art facilities. Whether it's for a routine checkup or a comprehensive medical procedure, at Parkview, your pet isn't just another number, but a valued member of their caring family. Visit them at pahlincoln.com today and in person just south of 14th and Pine Lake Road. Parkview Animal Hospital, your pet, their passion for happier, healthier, furry friends.
Empire Netting and Fence delivers top quality netting and fence solutions. From major sports venues to backyard installs and everything in between, coast to coast. We take on tough jobs with grit, integrity, and a strong commitment to safety. Empire is growing, and we're hiring motivated people ready to grow with us. We build each other up, and we're building something big. Think you've got what it takes? Apply now at empire-fence.com. That's empire-fence.com.
93.7 The Ticket, Fox, KFXL weather. Sponsored by John Henry's Plumbing, Heating, and Air Conditioning.
Your Lincoln forecast for today, a chance of showers and storms in the morning. Otherwise, decreasing clouds this afternoon. The high around 85. Tonight, mainly clear skies and light winds. Overnight low near 60. And tomorrow, we'll see mainly sunny skies with light winds. An afternoon high around 89. I'm meteorologist Kyle Flecker for 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
A lot of businesses say they're family focused, but when tough situations in life arise, the business wants anything but your best interests. James Enterprise Incorporated is hiring, and they will always treat their employees like family, just as they do their customers. James Enterprise Incorporated is hiring Class A and B CDL drivers, a shop tech, and a diesel mechanic. If you're looking for a career with a company that goes above and beyond to value you and your family, apply today at jamesenterpriseinc.com or call 402-432-6740. 4th of July weekend is coming soon, and you know what that means. Grilling season. You know what's more embarrassing than an overcooked piece of meat? A dirty, disgusting, and grimy grill. Let the pros at Husker Grill Cleaning get you ready for grilling season. They'll take your grill apart piece by piece, scrub every inch, and reassemble your grill so it can look and perform its best. Visit their website, huskergrillcleaning.com today to schedule your appointment. Husker Grill Cleaning, serving Lincoln, Omaha, Malcolm, and more.
Play ball!
Ready for summer fun and ballpark vibes? Bring your pack to Haymarket Park for a thrilling season of Lincoln Salt Dogs baseball and unleash the fun. From May through August, the Lincoln Salt Dogs will be playing and the park will be popping with all the food, drinks, and fun you need for the perfect night out. Grab your friends, family, and coworkers and make plans now. Visit saltdogs.com to secure your tickets. Come on out to the park and unleash the fun.
Take control of your health with the DASH scan at Advanced Medical Imaging. The DASH scan is a full-body MRI designed for advanced health screening. This dynamic approach provides exceptionally sharp images across multiple organ systems, helping to detect potential concerns early. With minimal radiation and no invasive procedures, the DASH scan offers a safe, comprehensive look at your health. Plus, results are delivered faster than ever, giving both patients and physicians confidence in screening and diagnosis. Your health is too important to wait. Schedule your DASH scan today at Advanced Medical Imaging. Visit amimaging.com or call 402-484-6677 to learn more.
Hey guys, you have heard about the Farrell's 10-week challenge for years on the ticket. If you still haven't joined us for this amazing challenge, what are you waiting for? You could be our next $1,000 winner like Derek, who just lost 30 pounds, 23 inches, and 8% body fat. Derek changed his life in the 10-week challenge, and so can you. Farrell's combines kickboxing, strength training, and nutrition coaching to get you the results you have been waiting for. Join us July 12th for the Summer 10-Week Challenge. Go to fxblincoln.com to enroll today.
Don't wait for Lincoln's fireworks stands to open up. Get the good stuff at Roca Crazy Cracker in downtown Roca. Stop in from June 25th through July 4th for the hot spot for rockets and more this Independence Day. Open 11 a.m. to 11 p.m. every day. It's Roca Crazy Cracker Fireworks in downtown Roca.
Back to Old School with Foreman and Orman on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
What up, second segment? Jay Foreman here with Old School. We got Ellie sitting in for my man Austin. We gotta give him a shout out. It was his birthday yesterday, so he was able to go to the Kansas City Royals game. I think they saw the Dodgers, but good segment there. Gambling in sports is at every level, and all the way down to the youth, and all the way up to the pros, and all the way in the entertainment. And so, anything and everything is on the table with it. But in the other news, you got some NFL news, and obviously the Kansas City Chiefs is always, we got a lot of Kansas City fans. For you Kansas City fans that have came out I always mess with Kansas City fans, Ellie, because they've come out the woodwork ever since Andy Reid and Patrick Mahomes has started to dominate through the league. But last year, I felt like it was a tired Kansas City team, right? A lot of success, a lot of stuff going on in the offseason. Super Bowl, I think when they beat San Francisco, when we, as the ticket, covered it, it was kind of like a bonus Super Bowl. I don't think they expected to win, but everybody just played so crappy, and you had Patrick Mahomes like, oh, thank you. Well, then that really put more pressure on this year. I think they were worn out, and obviously Travis Kelce was a little, lack of focus, rightfully so. And then obviously they faced the buzzsaw in the Eagles. Now, what that causes everybody in the NFL to panic, to go against the Eagles and try to beat the Eagles, right? Because the Eagles are
everybody likes. There's always got to be at least one team that everyone else is
trying to copycat
gunning for.
Right,
Yeah.
They're gunning for it, right? Eagles have a ton of offensive talent, so you see the moves by certain teams strategically is to stop the Eagles, maybe go against Buffalo, and projecting, or maybe the Ravens.
Mm-hmm.
How it works out for our beloved Kansas City Chiefs fans around here? The Chiefs are just waiting in the wings. They're like a lion, just ready to pounce. You got Patrick Mahomes, look like he's more focused, cut his hair off. Travis Kelce said this is it.
And Patrick cut his hair. Travis got hair.
Yeah.
Let's see how that works.
But they're both have committed to being more, especially Travis Kelce, more active in the offseason.
Yeah.
Andy Reid and company had a really good draft. And they've been able to kind of, I would say, they bargain shop that always ends up working out well. Now, everything works out well when you got arguably the best quarterback in the league, but the pressure isn't there. The off-season expectations isn't there. It's more internal standard. You haven't had to deal with a lot of the media attention. And for a
kind of a weight, in a positive and negative way, a weight has been lifted off the Chiefs' shoulders.
Right. And then now this is when they're dangerous. You got to think they won 15 games or something last year, and they were just beating teams on just smarts. It wasn't pretty. They were beating one-score games and all that, right? Just beating you.
And people hated that.
Right. Because
it made them mad, and it made the Chiefs happy. Like it was win-lose.
It was the first time for the Chiefs, which I think you always go, and we faced this at, as when I was at Nebraska, that you go from the Pied Piper or Peter Pan, the emotional favorite. You got to think, back obviously predates you, but 93, you got screwed by the refs. Florida State kind of they gave Bobby Bowden the national championship. There's multiple plays, a fake block in the back call on a punt return, the fumble that wasn't called, 2 plays that definitely changed the outcome of the game. Florida State wins. Nebraska is the national, emotional favorite. Come back the next year in Miami, beat the Miami Hurricanes, who had made national championships, haven't beaten Nebraska. You got that. Then here comes the best team of all time, or one of them in 1995, and then 96. Now finally 95, you had some stuff going on after. In 96, a little bit of a letdown after Tommy Frazier. Then when you win in 97, and then moving forward to 98 and all that. We didn't win in 98, but after that, then it was more the villain. Everybody wanted to see you lose.
Yeah.
And that's where the Chiefs
But,
are. Is where like everybody enjoyed, they became so successful, people started to hate them for the simple fact that they were good.
Yeah. And that's, you could say that about a lot of teams. It's not just, it doesn't happen. People like things to not like, if that makes sense.
Well,
They
that's
want
because
something
that becomes
to-
fun.
Yeah.
And it's a little
And then
bit
people don't like bandwagons. You go in, it's like, okay, they were great. People bandwagon a lot, and they like to hate things. They like to have, there's always got to be a villain, like you said. I like the Chiefs, but then you get called a bandwagon.
Are you an original Chiefs fan?
From a few years ago, yeah.
For when they started to become good, right?
No.
And there's nothing wrong with that.
The year before
Everybody likes a winner.
Everybody likes a winner, but also I like football, and I like watching good football.
And the Chiefs are always on
and the
around
football was good when it came to the Chiefs.
And they had Alex Smith before, so they always have been winning. There's nothing wrong with that.
No.
And I think, back to my original point, there's a huge trade, right? Jalen Ramsey is traded from the Steelers or from the Dolphins, Jake Sorensen's Dolphins, to the Pittsburgh Steelers for Minka Fitzpatrick and it was Jonnu Smith, the tight end. So the Steelers fleeced them. But it's all for the simple fact that they got Jair Alexander, I think before. No, that's the Ravens. But they have a young corner in Joey Porter Jr. Then you got Ramsey. And then they have multitude of kind of situational players. They're gearing up for Philadelphia Eagles and Patrick Mahomes. So it's crazy how when these trades are just a byproduct of trying to keep up with the Chiefs or the Philadelphia Eagles.
If you're within the Chiefs organization, are you thinking of yourself as comeback story of the year, or are you trying to stay sound mind, playing your game? What do you think is going through the Chiefs organization's head right now?
If I was a player on the Chiefs,
yeah,
I'm like, hey, we got Patrick Mahomes. We always in.
You're gonna be just fine.
We're gonna be just fine because he's the X factor.
Yeah,
he's like Tom Brady, Peyton Manning, and all that. You're not gonna win without a franchise quarterback. Now, iconic quarterback like Patrick Mahomes is different, but you're not going to win without a franchise quarterback. That's why Pittsburgh signed Aaron Rodgers, for the simple fact trying to get a glimpse of a franchise quarterback. But when you look at the Chiefs' schedule here, and you could look at the trade and what the Chiefs are, they're just sitting there laying in the wings, and it's going to be business as usual. Denver's probably not better than them when it comes down to it. The Chargers probably can't beat them, and the Raiders are the Raiders.
So if you're them, you're just not really.
You're worried about it because you do it. You play the Chargers, right? Coming out the gate. Then you play Philly.
Yeah.
Okay, so now you're looking at a like opponent. You go to the Giants. That's probably a win, right? Then you play Baltimore. Now those first 4 games, you got to be 2-2. At the worst case scenario. Then you play Jacksonville. W. Nick Saints, Detroit Lions. Probably a win.
I'm gonna say
Plus
W.
it's at home. Then you play the Raiders. W. Commanders. Tough. At Buffalo, tough. Then you come back after a bye week, you go to Denver. That's a tough game. But then you get to play the Colts. And then you got to play everybody.
I just see a lot of up and down.
Right, but you got to get going. But with Patrick Mahomes, you're thinking like right now, a regular fan, you're thinking about, okay, win, loss, win, loss, win, loss, win, loss.
But if you got Patrick Mahomes, it's all wins.
It's because as much when we talk about Patrick Mahomes, they fear Patrick Mahomes.
Yeah.
Kermit the Frog voice and all. Frohawk or anything. He's
Don't matter. He can play.
Because if you're within, here's the problem. You want to know what the problem with the Chiefs are? It makes them dangerous. And this is what makes people hate the Chiefs. If the game's close, you always feel like he's an X factor, and there was talk that they got calls. So that's something that you, as a defender. Where the Chiefs are really dangerous is when they're down.
Yeah.
Because then Andy Reid and Patrick Mahomes could just throw the ball everywhere, and he's just that good. I mean, a couple years ago, the Houston Texans were up 28-0, end up losing. 28-0 at halftime. Coach next year got fired, signed, sealed, and delivered. You lost to Pat. That's the problem. Because in order to beat the Chiefs, you have to beat them.
You have to beat
They
Patrick
don't.
Mahomes.
You got
too.
to and Andy Reid.
Mm-hmm.
He's a great play caller, and so the trades in the NFL, and as we get towards training camp, and there will be more trades or guys getting cut and guys getting picked up, is all to deal with Philadelphia Eagles, which I don't think put enough fear in people's hearts like Patrick Mahomes. And then it's to stop Patrick Mahomes. Because no matter what Buffalo does, and I'm a Buffalo Bills alum, or my Houston Texans or anybody else, that as long as he's that dude.
Uh-huh.
Like him, love him, or hate him. And he probably got a little bit entitled to calls and all that, rightfully so, and every quarterback did it, and he probably played into it. But you know what? If he can get away with it, why not? Because ultimately, like I say this, if you have to go outside of your norm as a player to get a win, by the time you're my age, nobody cares as long as you win.
Yeah.
So is Kansas City your favorite team?
Yeah, but I have something in my notes app that like reasons to be a Eagles fan. I have like things written down. I thought I would throw that out there.
Why is that? It's just amazing that the two teams that are in the Super Bowl are the two teams that you're contemplating.
Of course.
Being with. Yeah.
Of course.
Let me guess.
No.
You like the OKC Thunder too?
No, I actually don't. That actually really makes me upset, so I don't really want to talk about that.
Yeah.
I did not like the NBA finals this year. Didn't like any of the teams.
So why do you like the Eagles? Or what
I feel like I have since working here and in sports radio, I just have more knowledge and more of an understanding of the NFL teams and players, individuals. If I'm looking at the Eagles, I like individual players a lot more on that. I like individual players on the Chiefs and the Eagles more than other teams. I like looking at individuals, and that's how I decide on a team.
That's understandable.
Yeah.
That's understandable. It goes right around Henry Big Bang Hank here text in on the Sergeant Hammond text line. Says he's been a fan of the Chiefs since the Nigerian Nightmare. He's only 38.
Mm-hmm.
That's Christian Okoye. You don't know who he is.
You like it? I know.
Christian Okoye was a bad dude. So that's a true fan right there, because if Big Bang Hank was a Chiefs fan back then, that means Steve DeBerg was your quarterback.
Uh-huh.
You had no chance to win the championship.
And that's not a bandwagon. You can't call that bandwagon.
Right. And you know what? Our own.
If I were to let me think of a team that's really just not.
Detroit.
If I'm looking at NBA Pelicans.
Right.
Nobody would get mad at me if I said that was my favorite team.
No,
they would feel bad for me.
They would feel bad for you, but they would give you a lot of pats on the back, like Nick
Yeah.
Sainer has got since Nick Sainer has always been. Listen, he's always been a Detroit Lions fan.
Yeah.
And Nick Sainer fits that.
You know.
When you think, if you Google Detroit Lions fan, Nick Sainer comes in there. You can see Nick Sainer wearing his Detroit Lions.
I looked up Nick Sainer on ChatGPT the other day. You should look him up.
No, I'm not gonna do that. That's exactly the reason why we're going
That's
to break.
fan B.
Nick Sainer, you have one fan here with the Detroit Lions. I'm just saying, when you think of Detroit Lions fan,
Nick
you
Sainer
think of
fits the
somebody
bill.
sitting up in Detroit. It's cold. It's Pontiac Silverdome, Detroit Lions jersey, all faded.
Uh-huh.
Nick Sainer, a couple brewskis.
He fits the mold.
Yeah, he fits the mold. Anyway, what fits the mold is we're up against the block or against the break. Jay Foreman, Ellie sitting in for Austin. Old School. We'll be right back.
Watch Old School live on Facebook, YouTube, or Twitch. Old School with Foreman and Orman on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
Have you been injured in an accident and don't know where to turn? You need an attorney you can trust to handle your case with professionalism and compassion. The attorneys at Liberty Law Group understand that a call to an attorney is a call for help. If you've been injured, we want to help you. Liberty Law's experienced attorneys are committed to the pursuit of justice for those injured. Call Liberty Law Group and find out how we can help get you the compensation you deserve. Call 877-42-LIBERTY. 877-42-LIBERTY. Liberty Law Group. Trial attorneys you can trust.
Hey guys, you have heard about the Farrell's 10-week challenge for years on the ticket. If you still haven't joined us for this amazing challenge, what are you waiting for? You could be our next $1,000 winner like Derek, who just lost 30 pounds, 23 inches, and 8% body fat. Derek changed his life in the 10-week challenge, and so can you. Farrell's combines kickboxing, strength training, and nutrition coaching to get you the results you have been waiting for. Join us July 12th for the Summer 10-Week Challenge. Go to fxblincoln.com to enroll today.
Are you looking to upgrade or improve the garage door on your home? This is Cameron Hall of Doors Plus. At Doors Plus, we guarantee to offer a wide selection of options from 5 leading garage door manufacturers as we deliver a free estimate, exact measurements, and rapid installation with a 3 to 5 week time frame. When you choose Doors Plus for your residential garage door needs, you'll work with our experienced technicians and be ensured that your new door seamlessly complements your home. Give us a call at 402-590-5800 or visit us online at DoorsPlusLLC.com. Doors Plus, garage doors and more.
93.7 The Ticket, Fox, KFXL weather. Brought to you by Bryant Air Conditioning, Heating, Electrical, and Plumbing.
Your Lincoln forecast for today: a chance of showers and storms in the morning, otherwise decreasing clouds this afternoon with a high around 85. Tonight, mainly clear skies and light winds, overnight low near 60. And tomorrow, we'll see mainly sunny skies with light winds and an afternoon high around 89. I'm meteorologist Kyle Klecker for 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
An award-winning softball season deserves a celebration. Don't miss your chance to congratulate Jordy Ball in person. Join the team at Midwest Bank for a special meet and greet on July 16th at their Jamie Lane location as they recognize her incredible achievements. Bring your friends, your team spirit, and your favorite gear for Jordy to sign, and it all kicks off at 4 p.m. They can't wait to see you there. Get all the details at midwest.bank. Midwest Bank, member FDIC. Is your child 7 to 8 years old and wanting to get involved in competitive baseball or softball? The Nebraska Dominators have been active in the youth sports community since 1994 and are currently holding tryouts for their 7U and 8U baseball and softball teams. Visit the Nebraska Dominators Facebook page for more info today and provide your player the path to a successful and enjoyable youth sports experience with the help of the Nebraska Dominators.
Hi, I'm Asher. I'm summer break and about to start 2nd grade. Thanks to awesome people like you who picked Aloe Fiber. They donated $193,000 to schools like mine. This summer, I'm using my fast internet to keep learning, and I can't wait to tell my teacher everything I discovered. So if you're a grown-up picking internet, choose Aloe, because Aloe chooses us, our schools, our town, and our future. Go to aloefiber.com to learn more.
Attention all Wings fans, Buffalo Wings and Rings has daily specials that will make you want to stop in on all days of the week. Kids eat free on Mondays, and on Tuesdays enjoy 40% off boneless or traditional wings at a price that makes the whole family happy. And come back on Wednesdays for $1.39 chicken tenders all day long. Get to Wings and Rings today, 68th and O or in Williamsburg Village.
Need service on your home air conditioner? No matter what brand you have, just call Bryant, 467-1111. Bryant Air Conditioning, Heating, Electrical, and Plumbing.
Jack Russell of Farm Bureau Financial Services is here to help you protect things that are most important to you. Whether it's your home, your family, or your future, Jack Russell has the proven experience to get the job done while developing authentic relationships with you. Give Jack a call today at 402-421-9100. Again, that's 402-421-9100. Or visit one of his 2 locations in Lincoln or Seward and learn how you can excel in the complicated world of insurance. Jack Russell of Farm Bureau Financial Services, a trusted and well-respected representative since 1999.
Nebraska Veterans Aid is here for veterans and dependents facing unforeseen financial emergencies. Get assistance with food, fuel, shelter, clothing, transportation, and even funeral and medical expenses. If you're a veteran facing a financial emergency, apply for Nebraska Veterans Aid through your county veteran service officer. Learn more at veterans.nebraska.gov/NVA. Sponsored by the Nebraska Department of Veterans Affairs, aired with the Nebraska Broadcasters Association and this station.
Are you ready for a new opportunity? Check out Sandhills Global. Join a dynamic team where your skills are valued and your career can soar. We offer full-time positions with a 4.5-day work week, competitive pay, excellent benefits, and a positive work environment. From IT and marketing to sales and finance, we're looking for talented individuals like you. Apply today at sandhills.jobs and take the first step towards an exciting future. That's sandhills.jobs. Don't wait. Apply now.
Back to Old School with Foreman and Orman on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
What up, Jay Foreman? Old school with Ellie sitting in for my man Austin Norman. He'll be back, I think, Wednesday. Good 3 hours went by quick, but also John and Cortland says Andy Reid can coach. We do know that, and the best thing about Andy Reid, my man loves his barbecue.
He looks like he would like.
Yes, if there is a guy that you put in GP,
look up who likes barbecue, and
Andy Reid is coming in.
Will come up,
and he loves cheeseburgers or something like that. After he won the Super Bowl, he go get some big cheeseburger.
Get along well.
Yeah. So, anyways, you got with the 4th of July coming up, it's going to be plentiful out there on the grill. So you make sure you be safe. But good 3 hours. We covered everything: gambling and sports, the expansion of the WNBA, what the WNBA could do in the short term before it starts to expand. NFL news, NBA news. Guys are getting paid a bone. Probably right now, somebody's getting a phone call to get Piz Aid right now. I will say we have official DeAndre Ayton look. He's one of my favorite players because he does absolutely nothing, and he forced his way out of Portland. Right here, we just came with the Houston Rockets signed KD or traded for KD. The Rockets land Finney Smith, who me and Strick talked about, who was one of the top 3-and-D players out there. Lakers weren't able to keep him, so that means if I'm LeBron, I gotta get Ghost, because the Lakers are showing you that they can't keep anybody. Big shout out to one of my favorite players to watch. By the way, Michigan State, Jaren Jackson got $240 million well-earned money from Memphis Grizzlies. So he's probably going to try to keep Ja Morant in check. Man, if I was
I'm excited for you.
6'3", if I could have just got up to about 6'6".
How old are you? 6'3"?
Yeah. 6'4" with the fro.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No hat.
No hat.
I haven't seen your hat.
Yeah, but they'll mat it down. So I'm 6'2.5", 6'3". But yeah, a lot of guys are getting paid. Piz Aid. So
rewarding pay.
Yeah. Anyways, appreciate you guys listening. Appreciate you guys on the text. We'll be back tomorrow in full effect all the way to 6 o'clock again. For Jay Foreman, Ellie, old school, the new school way. We'll holler at you tomorrow.